The English Channel, stretching 560 kilometres between Dover and Land's End. 75,000 square kilometres of sea separating Britain from mainland Europe. 1 billion tonnes of marine traffic each year. Once a historic naval battleground, now the world's busiest waterway. On the front line,
Coastal Rescue.
elite teams, enforcing order and combating disaster as they police, patrol and rescue in the Channel 24/7.
Can you just give us an update on the casualties position?
Coming on, the RAF raced to a seriously injured teenager in need of emergency medical treatment.
Can you open this eye anymore?
On the high seas with the Fishery Protection Squadron, the net tightens on a trawlerman with a suspect catch.
You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court.
A treacherous night rescue after a 30-metre cliff fall.
Thank you. No, we're not going to help you up just yet, darling.
And a first for the Royal Navy Bomb Disposal Unit as they attempt to blow a 19th century wreck out of the water.
3, 2, 1.
The Royal Air Force Squadron, based at Chivenor on the North Devon coast, is the busiest RAF search and rescue base in the UK. In 2009, they saved over 300 people. It's 4 p.m. A call's come in.
224-236. Reported to have fallen on rocks. Heartland Coast Guard are en route.
The casualty is a 15-year-old boy. His injuries are thought to be serious.
Basically, we've got a faller not far from here. It's about 15 miles to the southwest of Heartland Point, so we're just going to go straight out now.
With a top speed of 200 kilometers per hour, the RAF Sea King, call sign Rescue 169, will be on scene in minutes. On duty today, winchman Andy Dicko Dixon. A trained paramedic who's clocked up 200 rescues in 3.5 years. The boy's broken bone is exposed through the skin. The risk of infection is severe.
A Rescue 169 Swansea Coast Guard West Country Ambulance were dispatched their air ambulance, but we believe due to the area that the casualty is in, you are going to be the better vehicle to transfer the casualty.
This is Rescue 169. We are actually talking to the air ambulance on the radio, and they have been stood down.
Already on scene, the Heartland Coast Guard have lowered a team down to the buoy, but it's no place for an air ambulance to land.
Just been dealing with all the radios. It gets quite hectic when we're just lifting, so we're talking with all the other agencies that are getting tasked with the same incident as well. So we've just been told that the air ambulance that was originally going to this incident has been stood down because it's a possible winching job.
So, armed with a winch and paramedic Dicko, Rescue 169 is now the boy's only hope. 140 kilometres away in the English Channel, the Royal Navy Fishery Protection Squadron on HMS 7 is policing fleets fishing in UK waters. Their mission is to clamp down on illegal fishing practices to protect the future of UK fish stocks. On the horizon is a beam trawler, which they've had under surveillance and strongly suspect has been fishing illegally.
We'll go straight away to Hans Fish boarding stations, get the team on. They can check his gear while he's transiting. So, Hans Fish boarding stations, please, Navs.
Hands to fish boarding stations, hands to fish boarding stations.
10:26, boarding authorised.
The Marine Management Organisation, or MMO, track every vessel over 15 metres in British waters, and this beam trawler has been spotted in an area where fishing is banned. It's the boarding team's job to find out what it's been doing there. They need to approach the trawler quickly to maintain an element of surprise. That way the ship's crew can't tamper with any of the evidence. Trawlermen aren't always happy to see inspectors, and sometimes make boarding difficult.
The minute the boarding ladder's rigged right by his stern, there's quite a big cutaway there, which means that as the vessel heaves and rolls on the tide, the sealer's being sucked towards the back end and it could be caught and pushed under. We just asked him to move his ladder midships, where we don't have that problem at all.
Are you ready? Like a tiger. Come on. Second one.
Okay, well done.
Good night for the walk. Happy, sir?
Happy, thank you. Cheers. We'll take a look at the documents then if we can do, please.
All fishing is suspended as Lieutenant Caddy's investigation gets underway.
82.
Back up the coast, Rescue 169 are on their way to a stranded teenager.
So it's Heartland Quay just down from there, yeah?
Yeah, it's just south of Heartland Quay, about 1 kilometre.
It's going to be an onshore wind at the location. We'll just have a look and see what's happening when we get there.
Okay, we're securing the cabin doors coming open.
Okay, got a couple of people
Down and right.
There's a waterfall where the position is, so...
Where is the casualty?
No, just...
there it is.
It's too rocky to land where the boy's lying, and a suitable site is 100 metres away. So pilot Mark Fisky Fisk opts for a hover jump.
I'm happy to just hold it in the hover over on the rocks if you want to be fairly close in.
Yes, please, I don't want to put too far.
It's going to be a bit of a lumpy walk in for you, Dicko.
Okay, yeah.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Deploying a winchman by bringing the helicopter just centimetres from the ground is a skill Fisky's mastered from delivering troops in combat zones.
2, right only now, Fisky.
Just get it as low as you can.
Right one. Tail's touching.
Let's touch it.
Can you hold it there? Okay, hold it there, that's good. They're just clearing out now.
The helicopter is now on standby, waiting for Dicko's assessment.
Just I hope Dicko doesn't wreck himself once he gets to the casualty.
With concern for the boy's condition growing, Dicko will need to act as fast as he can. In North Devon, RAF Rescue 169 have performed a hover jump to get paramedic Dicko to a 15-year-old boy who's fallen down a cliff.
2, tail's touching. They're just clearing out now.
The local Coast Guard are on hand to assist Dicko as he takes charge of the situation.
Can you open this eye any more? Take a bit of a cruise there as well, haven't you? There's nothing that eye as wide as you can for me. Relax, will you have a look at your head?
Adam's father Neil was with him when the accident happened.
How are you, Dad? Are you alright?
I was trying to get him onto an area where he could be treated, but...
Don't worry. Don't worry.
As well as Adam's broken bones, he's covered in cuts and bruises. the priority is to get him assessed and stabilised so he can be moved.
So what the plan is, Adam, I'm going to give you something just to take all that pain off for you. Okay. And then what we're going to do, because we've got such a lot of people here to help you, we're going to get a splint on your arm. Okay, mate. Then we're going to get you warmed up, get you in my stretcher, and then we're going to get winched together to the aircraft, me and you. Then we're going to take you off to Barnstable Hospital. All right?
I was just looking out to sea, and he was climbing up here. And I thought, that looks very steep, you know. And I saw him fall, and I just got over here as quickly as I could. But the girls got here first, and then they were screaming. I shouted to the girls, "Is he dead? Is he dead?" They said no, but he's badly injured, and you know, and they could just see the blood on his face.
Dicko administers morphine to make him comfortable. But Adam's injuries are serious, and stabilising him is going to need more time and medical supplies from the helicopter.
Currently working with the casualty. Need a bit more medical equipment, please.
Could you land on the beach and send the lad up with the spare oxygen?
Spare oxygen.
Roger. Okay, probably where those two people are walking in the 3 o'clock.
While the Sea King moves to a safe landing area nearby, Dicko utilises an inflatable splint to secure Adam's arm.
Does it feel any better? Feels strange, doesn't it? But it's just going to give you a bit of protection while we're moving you around a bit.
Winch operator Martin Seaweed guides the pilots onto a safe landing spot on the shale.
2, 1 on the tail, 1 on the left touching, tail's touching, tip to tail clear.
Well done, Adam. Right, so I'm just placing this round now. I'm going to wrap it around a few times.
Dad Neil is not looking forward to explaining the situation to Adam's mum.
This is going to kill me. She's away in Spain at the moment. I don't know whether to contact her or what to do.
Less than half an hour after Rescue 169 arrived on scene, Adam is ready to be moved onto a stretcher in preparation for the winch.
What we need to do is, we'll take that stretcher 180 degrees, so the head end is up here. Right. There you go.
Having escorted Neil back to the helicopter, winch operator Seaweed updates the pilots.
In the middle of the stream,
right.
It's getting really cold.
So what do you want to do, pick him up?
We're going to winch him, definitely. It's too tricky terrain to walk over that.
Adam's condition is deteriorating, and hypothermia is now a real concern.
Right, it's getting really cold there.
140 kilometres south in the English Channel, Fishery Protection Officer Paul Caddy is on the case of a beam trawler he suspects has been fishing illegally. If Paul's hunch is right, the skipper could face prosecution and a £50,000 fine.
First thing I'm doing is looking to see what he's declared that he's caught. It's important because when he lands his catch, one of the main documents that goes with it is his landing declaration, which says I've caught this amount of fish in this area, so that we can track what fish has been caught where and use that to inform future control measures. It's a good haul of sole for 7 foxtrot for 3 holes. That's not bad at all, is it?
Armed with the records, Paul and his team must now establish whether what's in the log matches what's in the freezer.
Okay. Got a pair of gloves actually before I get completely skanking getting in here. What we're looking at here is sole. It's what's known as a precious stock. There's not an awful lot of it left in the sea, so it's important that what is left is conserved and managed quite carefully to ensure that there's enough left for the future.
Last year, the UK Fishery Protection Squadron boarded over 1,000 boats and detected over 200 offences.
The fishermen, they're required to be very accurate in recording how much sole they've got, and they have to store it separately in the fish room so it's easy for us to inspect it. Turn over here, massive prey. You do feel like a bit of a pervert doing this, don't you? This is just wrong. I'm stroking a stingray. There's no problems having check weighed it. I'm happy it's accurate in the logbook. Therefore, I think we're done down here. Thanks, Skipper.
The captain's declaration of what he's caught does match the weight of fish on board. But what Paul still has to uncover is whether this haul worth over £10,000, was actually caught illegally in a prohibited area. Back on the North Devon coast, the RAF Sea King crew is preparing to airlift a teenager who's plunged down a cliff face.
The casualty is quite cold and not very well. He's got quite a few injuries, so we're going to try and get him in a stretcher fairly quickly, get him winched to the aircraft, and then he can get to hospital quick. It's all right working on the casualty for a certain amount of time there to make him more comfortable, but he's sat in a river and he's getting really cold.
Rescue 169 wastes no time in getting airborne ready for the winch.
Tail lamp port, you clear the ground. Hoist crew, please.
Roger, hoist crew.
Accurate communication between the crew members is vital when winching so close to a cliff face.
So your height is good, winching out, move forwards and right. Winching out. Height's good, am I alright there, Taff?
Yeah, height's good.
Okay, forwards 8 and right. Ready?
The winch operator acts as the all-important link between the winchman on the ground and the pilot who can't see the stretcher 25 metres below.
Come to hand, steady. Height is good. Working with a survivor. Steady. Survivor on the hook. Steady. Height's good. We're ready for lift. Winching in. Clear the ground, winching in. Approaching at the sill. Winching in at the sill. And hoist the pilot.
Pilot.
Winch out.
Out.
The trip to Barnstable by ambulance would take 40 minutes. The Sea King will have them there in just 10.
Heading steer 080, 20 miles. Roger. Yeah, roger.
The crew will continue to monitor Adam's condition. His father can't hide his relief.
Absolutely fantastic. We're really looking after him, it's brilliant. You know, I don't know what I'd do without them. What could I do?
You alright, Dad? What's your name? Neil. I'm going to take him off to hospital now. About 5 or 10 minutes, that's all.
As Adam is wheeled towards the emergency room, the crew has done all it can. Now it's the turn of the A&E department.
Hi Adam, I'm Liz, I'm the doctor on today.
He fell quite a long way, could have been a lot worse. You feel sorry for his dad really, you saw him fall, that's the worst thing. When you can't do anything about it and you're seeing like your son fall down a cliff, so it's must be quite traumatic for him, but fingers crossed he should be alright really.
Right, okay. So we're going to lift you in this blue van, okay?
Job over for the RAF. 80 kilometres down the coast in Padstow, it's job on for another Sea Patrol agency. The Royal Navy's Bomb Disposal Unit's primary role is dealing with the thousands of unexploded items of ordnance left over from the First and Second World Wars. In 2009, they attended over 150 shouts. But today's mission is a first for the team that will require a different set of skills. They've been called to blow up a wreck that's causing a hazard to shipping in the harbour. The wreck is thought to be that of the Antoinette, a 57-metre square rigger that was destroyed in 1895 by a gale just 160 kilometres into a voyage to Brazil. The ship broke into 3 pieces, to be forgotten about for over 100 years. But shifting sand has now exposed the remains of the centre section. For Padstow's harbour master Rob Atkinson, the wreck's sudden appearance is of grave concern.
There's a huge amount of tide running over the top of it, churning the water up. We get small canoes coming down, paddling down on tides like today's, and if they get caught up against that, they'll be in real trouble. We also get a lot of small boats, high-speed boats coming up and down here, and it's just become slowly more and more uncovered by the channel cutting its way towards Padstow, and now we need to do something about it.
So he's called in the experts.
Right lads, plan is today to get out onto this sandbar on the dune bar, and try and get rid of this wreck for the harbour master. We're going to walk out there today, take all the explosives, set all the charges, and detonate it from the surface. We very rarely get tasked to any demolitions job. It's normally just large bits of ordnance we're blowing up. This is good, interesting. Let's go.
The Antoinette is 1 kilometre out across the harbour bed and only accessible at the lowest of tides. The team have just a 2-hour window to access the wreck and fix their explosives before she's once again submerged. More challenging, this harbour's known for its quicksand.
Yeah. The sandbanks is notorious. 1 minute it's hard and solid, next minute it's like you're in knee-deep of water.
And its riptides.
There's such a massive movement of water.
Yeah.
It's basically
part of the wreck up there.
Funneling through the wreck and it's eddying around in the sort of whirlpool effect you can see right here. Say you're on a canoe and got caught up in that under some of the parts of the wreck, you're going to really struggle to get out.
Each explosive charge is carefully constructed to determine the direction of the explosion.
What this is a 2-ounce slab of plastic explosive, and what we're going to be doing is cutting into it down the middle with some deck cord and then black maskers all the way around it, and then that should make what we call a sausage bomb. Good fun blowing stuff up.
The 4-man team carefully prep the explosive. Just half of one of these explosive charges has enough force to blow up a truck.
This is probably about 20 kg. Each of these is carefully placed around the wreck to break it apart, really. It's not just, let's just bang it on and see what happens. It's more precise what we're doing.
They've worked out the amount of explosives required to blow up the wooden wreck from the information given to them. But it turns out they've been misinformed.
They're all cast iron, which is a bit of a surprise to us. We were expecting wood with bits of cast iron in it, but these are solid cast iron. So we're going to have to slightly increase the amount of explosives that we're going to use on it. We'll get in there, settle our charges, and then wait for the tide to cover her over before we go for a detonation.
But they'll have to move fast. In just 90 minutes, the tide will cover the wreck. Out in the English Channel, the Fishery Protection Squadron are examining every inch of a beam trawler. Even its nets are being measured for size. Back on the mothership, satellite intelligence is just coming in.
I've just received an email from the operations team up at Newcastle at MMO headquarters, and this is the VMS plot, and the vessel looks as if he's gone over the same area at about 6 to 7 knots, which is normally trawling speed. From this, it does indicate that he potentially fished in that closed area.
The evidence against the captain is mounting. Not only was the trawler in the restricted area and going at a fishing speed, they can now prove he was zigzagging, just as he would if he were trawling.
This is Mother sending Seaboat with a map and some written instructions.
You need to read through my handwritten note and then look at the picture that's been sent across as well, over.
Roger, many thanks. We'll watch out for the Seaboat, over.
The allegations are serious, and Paul must now conduct his interview with the ship's captain under caution.
Right, let's go and have a quick chat with the skipper. He's going to love this.
So the reason for this interview is that you are believed to have maintained an inaccurate record of your fishing activities in your logbook. I must caution you that you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned, something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. I'm now showing you a map of your position by VMS, which shows you making 4 to 5 knots through area 30 Echo 4. Why were you manoeuvring in this way?
The weather was so bad. We just put the gear on deck and go slowly to the south on the most easy way. We were not fishing. We did it for safety of crew and ship.
I see from your VMS positions that you followed several different courses, including going back and forth over the same ground around 1836 UTC. Why would you do this if you were attempting to hold a steady course?
Yeah, because this one is on the wind and for the wind, and the other watchman maybe he rather goes on the wind.
I put it to you, Skipper, that from your VMS positions, you were fishing.
Yeah, but we were not fishing because our gear was on deck.
Is there anything further which you wish to say on the record?
Just, I didn't fish in that area. The only reason they think I was fishing is because we were running on the slope.
Thank you very much, Skipper.
The captain has given his version of events, but is it enough?
Mother, Bravo Golf, that's the interview complete. Having questioned the master, it's fairly apparent that he thought this was coming. He straight away started explaining why he was moving at slow speed in the closed box in 30 Echo 4. He says that he was attempting just to seek comfortable courses and speeds from the rough weather. Request intentions now, over.
Roger. I'll pass this back to MMO and then I'll see what action they want to take on completion of this interview, over. Okay, thanks Malcolm, bye. This is Mother. Have relayed all that information to Mike Oscar. You are to inform the skipper that MMO believes he was fishing in a closed area and they take this very seriously, over.
Roger. Skipper, I've had a quick chance to speak to the ship. The MMO's position is that on the balance of probability you were probably fishing in their eyes. So we're going to forward statements and I'll forward them a copy of the interview. You'll get copies of all of that through to yourself. I'll stamp and sign your logbook, return it to you and we'll be on our way.
The MMO will continue their investigation, but for now, the jury is out.
I think I was fishing. I had two gears. The weather was not possible to fish, so it's them against me.
In Cornwall, the bomb disposal unit are preparing to blow up the wreck of the Antoinette, exposed by shifting sands in Padstow Harbour. With its iron struts exposed above the sand, and as much as 5 meters more wreck below it, it poses an imminent threat to vessels using the harbour.
We'll double up on that one, normal on the rest of them. Go from there, across those ones, to there, and then going over to the starboard side. We'll run the deck cord along that.
The explosives are methodically secured to the strongest parts of the Antoinette, the struts and shoulders of what was once the ship's hull.
It's the biggest tide of the year, so it's going to be maybe more than 4 knots of tide flying over the top of this. That's a huge amount of water, creating a massive pressure on anything that's loose. We have to make sure these are going absolutely nowhere. Yeah, cool.
The 2-hour window they had to lay the charges is rapidly expiring, and shifting sands and riptides are working against them.
We've got the charges linked to this deck cord here, and then it will run up to the surface, where later on we'll fit the detonator when we're ready to initiate.
The wreck is rigged. Now the team must wait for high tide to cover the wreck and cushion the explosion, preventing damage to Padstow Harbour.
Everything's set. Tide's coming in over the wreck now, so we'll get ourselves in a boat, get over there, make sure we've got a good cordon around the whole wreck, and we'll detonate the explosives.
Let's do it.
Petty Officer Gary Waring needs a 1.5 kilometre exclusion zone around the blast site.
We'll get down to the barge, make sure there's no vessels coming in and out. Once we've done that, we'll place the detonator and the receiver onto the floats, and then we'll press the buttons and that'll be the end of it.
Between the bomb disposal unit and the harbour master, the cordon is enforced with marker buoys encircling the restricted area.
2 meters. I'm going to take that receiver onto this here.
A buoy carrying a receiver is floated towards the blast site. The receiver allows the bomb disposal unit to trigger the detonation from a safe distance by remote control.
This is basically what he's going to use to actually get the electrical charge enough to make the detonation, which will obviously lead down the train and set the rest of them off.
Copy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Navy OD, can you just confirm that your cordon is in place? Navy OD, all heard.
Satisfied that the blast site is secure, the detonation begins.
30 seconds. Ten. 5, 3, 2, 1.
The wreck of the 19th century Antoinette is destroyed by the force of the explosion. All that remains are flotsam and driftwood.
That was a successful firing and collapse the cordon, and see you in part8. Out.
As night falls on the North Devon coast, at Chivener the RAF crew is on standby. It's 11 p.m.
Thank you. There's a female cliff caller apparently. Lots and lots of people are making their way there.
Okay.
And, we'll get any more information to you as soon as we can.
Is that welcome mouth, yeah?
A welcome mouth, yeah.
Alright, no worries, thanks very much.
Welcome mouth right there. There you go.
They don't know if she's fallen or if she jumped.
As far as we know, it's a cliff faller down at Welcome, it's just south of Hartland Point. Everyone's making their way there at the moment, so we're going to go and see what we can do to help.
Within minutes, the RAF Sea King call sign Rescue 169 has lifted. Welcome Mouth is 40 kilometres down the coast.
Rescue 169, we're airborne, Mom. We'll be on scene in just under 10 minutes.
By day, Welcome Mouth is a popular tourist spot. By night, the cliffs make rescues difficult even for military pilots.
This is Swansea Coast Guard. I believe you're going to be first on scene, sir. The casualty is believed to be in drink, and the first informant has also been showing signs of aggressiveness over the phone to the police. Over.
Roger, we'll keep that in mind.
If the woman's been drinking, it'll add a further complication for the crew. Tonight there's no moonlight, making this rescue even more challenging for pilot John Hill. In near-zero visibility, FLIRCAM, the Sea King's thermal imaging system, is vital.
Okay, Stevie, where's a good place to be then for the FLIR?
Well, yeah, just skirt up and down the cliffs like this, mate.
Okay.
Just take this nice and slow, it's a dark night.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, mate.
Cool.
I've got the blues and twos there. There's the Coast Guard, there's two Coast Guard people there. There's some people pointing to the bottom of the cliff. Okay.
Yep.
Go along left, there's two guys stood on the beach, and then there's some more in like a cave bit.
The ground below them is too rough for a landing, so paramedic Tim must prepare for the winch.
Hoist the crew, please.
Hoist crew.
Okay, you're clear behind and below, down 15.
Roger.
Forward 2.
Winch operator Seaweed lowers Tim, but he's also visual help for pilot John.
Okay, I've got Tim with his kit to get into the beach.
Clear the winch.
Roger, Tim's over the side, winching out, height's good. Move forward 1. Steady. approaching the ground, on the ground. Getting rid of the kit, winching in. Hook to hand, winching complete.
As Tim heads for the casualty, pilot John flies the helicopter away from the hazardous cliffs.
This is Rescue 169. We've deployed the winchman on scene and awaiting his assessment. Over.
Roger, listening out.
Hello, darling. My name's Tim. I'm a paramedic off the helicopter. What's your name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca. And what's happened?
I don't remember.
All right.
Fill me up.
Can you have some light round here, guys, please?
Fill me
Thank
up,
you.
please.
No, we're not going to help you up just yet, darling.
While Tim tries to assess his patient, on board Rescue 169, the crew are assessing their options.
The difficulty with tonight is because it's so dark, the pilot's going to struggle when we're that high to have references to hover off.
After falling 30 metres, a medical assessment is critical before Becky is moved.
Do you hurt anywhere, sweetheart?
Yeah.
Where?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Right, okay, that's a good start.
But she's not making that easy.
I'm just having a little feel of your back now.
Come on, help me up.
Becky, just hang on a minute, darling, okay?
It's midnight on the North Devon coast. Becky Hobbs, a 23-year-old camper who had been drinking, has fallen 30 metres down a cliff.
Do you hurt anywhere, sweetheart?
Yeah.
Where?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Right, okay, that's a good start.
She's lying at the base of Welcome Mouth, which by day is a popular tourist spot. But now with no moonlight, offers quite a challenge to the crew of Rescue 169.
Looking into the cliffs is about the only thing I can see.
I don't fancy winching, John, from where they are.
No.
Treating Becky is RAF paramedic Tim Thompson.
Right. Okay, don't pop it. That's good, darling. What we're going to do now is get a stretcher sent down. Yeah. And we're going to roll you straight into one of our stretchers, sweetheart. Okay? 169 from mobile.
Go ahead.
Can I have the Neil Robertson, please?
You send the sorry, please.
A Neil Robertson is a type of stretcher used when the casualty needs lifting or lowering to safety.
Roger, check complete. Neil Robertson's deployed. 4 height's good. Full winch out at height. 3. Winching out right only. Steady on the ground. Working with the hook. Steady off the hook. Winching in. Winching in. If we just stay here, we'll illuminate the way for Tim.
She's up behind a rock here, so we'll get this in behind her, and then we'll just have to try and roll her, sort of like twist it in round and underneath.
Using the helicopter's infrared, it's possible to see just how far Becky has fallen.
I'll try and show you on the camera if I can. If you look, that's them there at the bottom of the cliff there, and if you look up here, that's quite a big cliff. I mean, you can see that's the size of a human, so...
That looks like she's bashed herself up then. She's been stretchered.
And we're going to need to get you nice and flat there, Becky, now. So we're going to have to move your legs, all right? Can you move this one a bit longer down here for us, yeah? Good girl, that's great.
This is Rescue 169. We're positioning for recovery of the winchman and casualty this time. I'll estimate at North Devon District Hospital in 5 minutes. Over.
Everybody ready? Mm-hmm. Yep. Ready, set, roll. Good girl. Excellent, excellent. That's great. That's it, that's all the movement done now, Bex. That's good. Just come from over. We'll be ready for lift in about 5 minutes.
169 mobile, this is 169, we're on our way to you now.
Winching in a tight cove so close to a cliff face is always challenging for pilots. But the darkness tonight will make it particularly tough.
Winching out right 2, up down, right 5, 3, 2, 1.
Quite close to the cliff now, so
steady, height is good. Ready for lift, steady, winching in. Steady, height is good. Lifting and clear the ground, clear off the ground, winching in.
Roger. The Sea King's rotor blades are just 6 meters from the cliff face.
At the sill. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm going to switch all the lights off now.
Go for it. Fly away.
Roger, fly away. How long have we got to hospital?
Showing 10 minutes. How is she?
Could be better. Head injuries.
Oh, sure.
At the helipad, hospital paramedics rush Becky to A&E.
In a couple of minutes we can get your seat to, alright? Good.
But still confused, Becky begins to panic.
It's just too tight. I feel I'm going to be sick.
You're going to be sick, are you?
Oh no, this is too tight.
It's alright, sweetheart.
Please loosen it.
We can't lose. Yeah, but you, if you just look.
Take the neck thing off, please.
We can't take it off.
Thing off.
Hey, Becky, do not. Wait, will you listen to me? Just listen to me. 2 minutes. We'll have you in the department, and a doctor can have a look, and then he'll take it off. It'll only be a couple of minutes. Good. Young girl, been out having a little bit of a good time tonight, a bit of a party, and she's a little bit worse for wear. She's a pretty lucky girl, actually, is that she could have done an awful lot more.
Adam Kerslake, the teenager who fell down Speaksmill Cove, had a compound fracture to his arm, broken pelvis, and serious trauma to his leg. He was operated on at North Devon District Hospital and has made a full recovery. The beam trawler captain interviewed under caution by the Fishery Protection Squadron is still awaiting the outcome of their inquiry. If found guilty, he could face a fine of up to £50,000. And Becky Hobbs, the 23-year-old who fell 30 meters down a cliff, had multiple injuries including a fractured shoulder, pelvis and wrist.
I know how lucky I am. I do. I'm not stupid. Oh. Well, I won't be camping on top of cliffs any time soon.
Next time, a lifeboat crew battles to save a stricken trawler in treacherous weather.
There's potential that, they could be sinking.
The Royal Air Force race to save a holidaymaker injured on the rocks.
He's under a cave at the moment. We think the tide's coming in, so he's going to end up in the water, which makes his condition worse. Hypothermia and things like that become an issue.
The rescue services are called into action when a weekend sailing trip ends in disaster.
We're in danger of sinking. We're losing engine.
And the tale of Scrappy, an injured puppy who gives his rescuers the runaround.
Dog's just got out of the release.